Hey everybody, in this tutorial I'm going to be talking about dynamic timeline masking. So essentially showing you how certain things can disappear and reappear at certain points in the timeline, how you can mask them out. We're going to be recreating something similar to the video you see right here with my good friend Inuk, the master magician. He's about to show us an illusion of mastery of the human mind here. So you can see, poof, there we go. We have a card suddenly appear. And he's able to somehow manipulate that card in time and space. Alright, so we're going to learn about how to do that in just a moment. So let's go over to popVideo right away, and let's load in the source video for that. So let's load this one in here right here, and you can see he's kind of a phony. We have an arm holding up the card with a green pole that's compatible with the green screen background there, and he's not a magician at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to create that magic. I'm going to go to the chroma key tool over here, and that chroma keys out most of the background there. However, we need to still mask out the arm and the card at certain points in the timeline, and that's where this tutorial comes in. So let's go to our mask tools up here. You can also use the Control M hotkey. And at the very beginning of this video, you can see we need to mask out. We don't want the card to appear. We don't want the hand to appear, obviously. We want them to appear at a certain point. So what we're going to do now is mask these out. Now you can use a variety of different tools here. You can use Control H to pan around your scene. If you want to zoom in and out, you can use your mouse scroll wheel. And the brush key, you can also use Control B. That'll allow you to brush out certain objects, like we can brush out this card right here, just like so. And then if we go ahead and preview it, you can see that card will disappear. So this, when you use preview mode here, it's going to show what it's like when it's actually playing back. So we have the brush, and then we have the eraser tool. So you can also use Control E for the eraser, and that's pretty much self-explanatory, erases stuff. The lasso tool is pretty useful, especially if you're masking out large areas. You can use Control U to do that. And on the side note, you can also use Control K to clear all the masking. As far as brush size goes, you can use the bracket keys, left and right bracket keys, to decrease or increase the size of your brush size. There's also brush hardness as well if you want to have a softer brush similar to Photoshop, and brush strength. Those are pretty self-explanatory. Let's just use our lasso tool here though. We're going to just kind of create a little area here that'll mask out our arm and hand there, and make sure that you get everything in there. You have a red line around the edge. You can't go out of the edge with a red line there. So you have like a little, looks like almost like a little mouse nose pointing to the right here. And so if we play back, you can see the mouse, the card we can't see. We can see a little bit of an edge right there, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. First, what I'm going to do is we don't want this video to start so early, because he's not really doing much up until about I'd say this point right here. So what I can do is I can just take this green little triangle and slide it over, click and drag and slide it over here. So our project will now start at this point here. And then if there's any card appearing from this point here, make sure we don't see any cards, any indicator of the card appearing. And looks good. Okay, and then boom. Actually, right before he does it, it seems like the card moves a little bit. So let's go back to the point before he does his little magic trick there. And you can see as we're approaching, as he's approaching, we have the card, the bottom part of the card start to appear there. So we obviously don't want that. We have to mask that out. So let's use our brush tool again. We can just mask it out like that, like so. And if I press F3 and go into the timeline, notice that creates a keyframe in the brush mask track. However, the problem is anytime before that keyframe, we're still going to have the card exposed here. So what we want to do is we want to right click on that keyframe and select Set as Global Key. And that will transfer that masking data to the entire timeline. So the entire timeline will look like this now. And then we have it successfully masked out. But he's kind of probably going to make it appear at this point here. So I think right about there. All right, let's do it right about there. And so then we can use the erase tool. And let's observe the card now. All right, so we just took off that little mouse nose, and now we can see the card. So we have that, again, a keyframe in the timeline. So from this point, we're not going to see the card. And then boom, just like that. The card appears out of midair. Fantastic. All right, and then he does his little dipsy-do magic move, and then we want the card to disappear again at about this point right here. I think a little late on the trigger there. I think about maybe about right here. We want the card to disappear once again. So let's go ahead and do that same masking. Just like this. There we go. Recreate our little mouse nose there with a little mouth there as well. And then if we play back, boom, there you go, all done. And the card has disappeared. So let's play through that one more time just to see the results there. So here he is, getting warmed up, nothing up the sleeves. We don't see any indicators of the card at this point. And bam, there's our card. And he'll do his little toying back and forth until this keyframe right here, when the card will disappear one more time. Boom, just like that, and complete. All right, he's looking pretty cool there. All right, anyway, so that's how you can make things appear and disappear in the timeline by using dynamic timeline masking. Let's take a look at one more example here. I'm going to start a new project. In this example, we're going to talk about zooming in and out. So let's go to this camera zoom video right here. So very similar. You can see our female heroine right here is looking not impressed. And we can actually skip a bunch of this as well. I think up until about this point right here is when she's begins to talk. So let's just use this again, project slider, and move it all the way up to here. And then what's going to happen is the camera is actually going to zoom out. And it's going to zoom out to a point where we don't have any more green screen. So you can see right here, obviously what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to mask out the areas around the green screen. So let's just wait until it stops here. That's the extent of the zoom out there. And let's go to chroma key, and that should get rid of most of the stuff. All we need to worry about is this checkered background for now. And I'm going to go to the masking tools. So this is the way I like to do it. If you have a zoom out situation like this, go to the extent of your zoom out, where your zoom out is completed, and then you can mask out the area that you need to mask out. Actually, in this case, it might be a better idea to use the lasso tool. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's lasso this area over here. Just like that. There we go. And then we can do the top as well. I hope that caught on there. There we go. Move the mask tools out of the way. And finally one over here as well. And so what that's going to do is that's going to mask out the entire area right there. If we preview it, you can see, boom. All right, and we've created that keyframe right there. However, this is a gradual zoom in, so we're going to see points where, obviously the zoom in isn't working too well. So what I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to right-click on that keyframe, and I'm going to set as global key, just to make that that masking effective for the entire timeline. And let's go back to frame 1 by pressing the stop key there. And basically the only thing that we need to fix at frame 1 is we need to kind of reveal her head there a little bit. So let's use the erase tool, and let's do that. Let's just create a little dome there. We can see her head. There we go. That should make her head appear. Okay, just give us a bit more space to work with there. And then if we play back, everything looks okay, everything looks okay. And we'll worry about the chroma keying issue in a bit here. So it's only about till this frame here, maybe about frame 350, where the background starts to appear. So let's just go ahead and mask out as close as we can to her head, because it's only going to be zooming up from this point on. So there we go. Make sure we mask that out. That's a keyframe right there. So we should not see anything up here until a little bit later. And about there, that was about frame 480, I believe. No, earlier than that, 465. And I think at this point here, we've pretty much reached the extent of our zoom out, so we can actually just make a horizontal line across here now. And then from this point on, we shouldn't see that area. All right, so everything's looking fine and dandy. We can, obviously fix a little bit of the chroma key issue. If we go to chroma key and let's just use our matte white slider here just to kind of take our halo correction down here just to restore the original color. And I think that's looking okay. Maybe take the mask down a little bit, take the blur up a little bit. There we go. All right. So that's at frame 1. So that's at the first frame of our project. So that'll be effective for the rest of the entire project. Let's play back. All right, so we have her talking about something. You can just imagine in your own head what she's talking about. And zooming out, even though our green screen is too small, we effectively have a perfectly dynamically masked project right there. All right, so that's how you can use dynamic masking in a zoom out scenario as well. And that's about it for this tutorial, guys. Just wanted to show you how you can, add different keyframes in the timeline using the brush mask tool. Again, there's lots of different scenarios that you can use this in. These are just a couple of them, but hopefully you learned a lot, and that's about it. So make sure you check out our forums at forum.reallusion.com and check out our other popVideo tutorials as well, and I'll see you next time.